this might be controversial, but I think that Lobo was included in this movie, obviously, to have that charisma, to bring that humor to the role. I think his inclusion raises questions about whether he serves the particular story or whether he simply sets up future projects for himself in the DC universe
Oh, yeah.
or otherwise. Because when you look at it, it's like the Indiana Jones effect. Because if you took Lobo out of that movie, that story wouldn't change at all. I don't think it would
Yeah.
change one bit. You'd get a few less cool action sequences, a few less quippy dialogue pieces here. Jason Momoa absolutely brought it to the table. He's a really good Lobo, but in this movie, did we need him?
Yeah, he's just for action figures, guys. You know, they're just setting him up for future stuff. And I will say, I think this is probably one of his best performances. There is a touch of Beetlejuice added to it. I think that so when I first heard Lobo was gonna be like, that makes sense because Comet doesn't make sense to mainstream viewers. And so I thought, okay, Lobo will replace him. That's perfect because in Lobo has a motorcycle that can drive through space. He'll outrun the orb. Perfect. And then they did not do that story at all, that part of
Yeah.
the story at all. And they just had Lobo be a chill dude. And
Yeah.
even to the point
Totally.
where he's like, yeah, even the point where he's captured was like, that's not even how that would happen. Like, Lobo would never be captured. He
Yeah.
would do that in a way to get closer to a guy to capture him, but he wouldn't purposely, or he wouldn't end up getting captured like that. So it was truly just let's get Lobo in this movie somewhere. And you're right. If you were to take him out, honestly, you would have a tighter movie that you could add more things to that would be more useful, I think, to the story.
Absolutely. And, when I was watching this, he didn't appear for the first 35 minutes. And when he appeared and they said, oh my God, it's Lobo back in the back of the tavern that they're in, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. He's in this movie. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
completely forgot. And then he showed up and I was like, he's actually pretty cool. But yeah, he didn't serve anything to do with the story. I felt like, if it was me and this was 10, 15 years ago, I feel like peak Jack Black could have played a really good Lobo. Yeah, just like turned up to 11. And I feel like Jason Momoa is doing a really good job of that. His wilder side, we could say, might be coming out in a few more DC projects. Didn't want to steal the spotlight too much, but that's what I hope to see from him. I
Mhm.
thought it was interesting and really sort of spotlighty as well that when Kara went through her decision at the end, we'll talk about in just a moment about seeking her revenge. They made sure that everybody knew that Lobo was the one who saw her do that from, the peak on the top of his motorcycle smoking his cigar as well. So implying that he will have an important point of leverage in Supergirl's story in the future. Because, you don't want anybody knowing your deep
Interesting
dark
take.
secret, let
Yeah.
alone Lobo.
I think Supergirl would be open about that secret. I don't think it's a secret for it is a secret in the comic book, I should say. It's not a secret in the movie, I think. I think
Mm.
she would go to Clark and say, like, I did this and as part of a healing process. I thought Lobo, particularly watching that, was showing that, okay, Supergirl's not this sucker superhero that you'd expect. She can be like me, where she gets things right. So I think there might be a moment where Lobo needs help and sees that Supergirl's the kind of person I can go to for help because she plays it real sometimes. And I
Mm.
thought they were kind of just setting up more Lobo for the future. I thought that.
Yeah, well, I think it can't be argued that Jason Momoa has a future in the DCU, and I think that
Yeah.
he's definitely going to be in more stories, just on how they left him as well. But I feel like he was the draw card for a lot of people, or for some people at least, because they wanted to
Mhm.
see Lobo in the DCU. But yeah, props to Jason
It's funny
Momoa
that
too.
he got the popcorn bucket, right? Like of all the characters, he's such a small character. And even like when you get the popcorn bucket for him, you just like remove him. It's just like 2 cups of popcorn you get in this thing. But that was the popcorn bucket was Lobo. So why him?
Yeah, he's the marketing guy, definitely
He
for
is.
sure.